Hello, I'm Peter Machin. Welcome to my podcast. This conversation with South African jazz giant Hugh Masekela is super interesting. Masekela, who died in 2018, was one of South Africa's most important musicians and was a global star in the 20th century. But even if you're not familiar with Hugh's incredible body of work, the issues that we discuss around culture and colonialism are still extremely relevant today. If you don't know Hugh's music, you can find some of his songs and albums at talktopeter.com. But for now, enjoy the conversation, and don't forget to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Here's me and Hugh.
Hello.
Hello, Hugh Masekela.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's Peter Machin here.
Hello, Peter.
I'm not interrupting your lunch or anything.
No, I just finished. I just swallowed my last morsel.
Okay. So that's well timed. I'm sorry I'm phoning you on a public holiday.
Every day is a public holiday for the unemployed.
Okay, can I fire ahead with my questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got quite a few. But my first thing is you have been enormously successful all over the world, but both critically and you sold lots of records. And I saw last week at the film festival that the movie Amandla.
Okay.
And it was great to see your awesome Africa performance there. It was lovely. But what I want to know is, there are also people like Busi and Madala who, have not really achieved any kind of real commercial success. And I want to know how you feel about those people. Kind of your musical sisters and brothers in a way.
Well, I can't comment about Madala, but Busi is somebody that's very dear to my heart. We just formed a record company with a few associates, and my new album, Time, is on our record company, Cheese, although we still distribute it by Sony.
Yeah.
We have 4 products. And Tsapo's album actually came out yesterday, Tsapo Sola. That's also on our Cheese, our label.
Okay.
Our next artist that we're going to be doing is Busi.
Yay.
And unlike other record companies, we do a collaborative thing. Blondie McCann and Kaya Masango and a few other musicians, and we all work together because what we want to really unlock is the excellence of our individual artists, the ones that we sign. I think Busi is an outstanding artist. I think her first album that came out, was almost well produced, but it just wasn't marketed as well as it could have been,
Yeah.
And I don't have any track of the second album, but that was also with the same company that's since gone into liquidation.
Yeah.
But we were planning to make production of an album that will hopefully seem like a debut album.
Okay.
So unlock as much of the excellence as possible, and it'll be the first in a series. And we want to market her very aggressively internationally, and we have those connections. And we'll see. But I have a great faith that Busi is going to be a very important international artist.
Well, that's very exciting news. I'm really happy. Because she's tried so hard.
Yeah, she's a wonderful person.
She really is.
Wonderful person. And she just she went public, but she just came out of recovery,
Yeah.
And, I think that will also bode and augur very well for her, because she's got her soul back, and I think she's gonna come out with a marvelous performance on her next album.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A friend of mine actually saw her at the Rainbow on Sunday and said she's looking much happier.
Oh yeah, and she's just in a great shape.
That's excellent. Well, one of the other things that I kind of think has stopped the success of some of the older artists like Busi, as opposed to kind of younger, quieter stars, is that whenever I speak to kind of young black African kids in Durban, kind of people my age or younger, kind of in their 20s, lots of them don't want to listen to music that they consider as their parents' music.
Well, there's something skewed about that. I think that's marketing's fault, because I started music as a kid.
Yeah.
I've been a musician since I was 5, and I still view music as a child. And I think that thing has to do with South Africa and the international markets, like trying to get niche markets and marketing situations for the youth where they have to wear certain clothes and they have to listen to certain music, do the certain dances, and do certain drugs and talk certain language, which I think is a bunch of poppycock.
Yeah.
I think that music is either enjoyable to a person or not, but people shouldn't be prevented from listening to all kinds of music. I think it's a snobbery, and it's a kind of cultural racism to say, I don't want to listen to this because it's for kids.
Yeah.
I participate in the arts with all kinds of people. I have the most eclectic collection, which is international, because music is sound.
Yeah.
And I don't hear any children, who are not teenagers yet say, I want to listen to music for children.
Yeah. I
have a very big youth and child right down to infant following, because they like what I'm doing, because I draw most of my material from the origins of the traditions of this country. And it just sits naturally with everybody because they can identify with it.
Yeah.
And I think that I transcend all that bullshit marketing. And I think people are misled. Kids are misled. And one of the worst things that is happening is that kids are the only people now targeted for listening or buying music, but they use their parents' money. And the parents are being shunted aside, but they have money to spend. So from the industry's point of view, I think it's a stupid greed move, I think that niche marketing it brings out prejudices in people that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Originally, people used to listen to everything together. Music is a family thing. It should be enjoyed together as a family. And if the family don't like what my kids listen to everything, and what the stuff that they play for me that I don't like, I just laugh and say, well, I can't get with that. But I don't say, hey, that's music for kids. I only say, what you listening to? I like that. That I don't know about,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them if they're listening to something that doesn't hit me.
Yeah. So what you're talking about in a way is this kind of marketing is really kind of a kind of colonialism. I think. I don't know if you agree with that.
Well, it's capitalism.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like fashion, there are many kids' clothes that would look great on some adults. Because they have the right bodies for them.
Yeah.
But those adults wouldn't wear them because they're for kids, And I think there's a lot of adult clothing that would look good. The thing that bugs me is that many kids sometimes have to look good. Let's say there's a funeral.
Yeah.
And they come wearing shit that doesn't fit the occasion. It doesn't make sense, And my kids wear hip clothing, but if there's a funeral, I let them wear something that looks solemn. And usually they have to draw. So we wear the same size, so I let them wear some of my clothes. And they enjoy them. They think they're great.
Yeah.
So I think it's the way you bring up children, and if you let your children listen to the bullshit that's being bandied around in marketing and sales, then they're going to be victims of that.
Yeah.
And as a result, which is one of the reasons that this country culturally has such low self-esteem, because we're only being sold foreign values, and they are placed above who we are.
Yeah, yeah.
What we should really do is appreciate everything, including our shit.
Yeah.
And there's a major market for who we are, but we're not using it. So as a result, when people come to this country, they bypass the people and go to the animals.
Yeah, that's completely true.
Presence that interests them because we're imitations of other people.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant by colonialism.
Yeah. And it's a economic and financial brainwashing. That's what it is, really.
Yeah.
You know.
For me, it's just it's amazing the rest of the world actually wants Africa now because it's another market and we can't even see it.
Well, it's unknown. They don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But before we know it, we will be buying it from them. I mean, because we are not unlocking our own resources. And like South Africa has the most diverse cross-section. I mean, we're the only country that can have an international cultural festival or fair without importing anybody.
Yeah.
But instead, we steeped in the xenophobia of yesteryear that was, like usual, that was originally introduced by colonialism and then by apartheid ethnic grouping, and we're victims of that. And we can't unlock the value of, our immigrants because we don't want them here.
Yeah.
And like these people are of great value to us. They come here because they admire us and they admire our country and we shut them out. But if we did the opposite, we could be even a greater country. And if we looked inward instead of outward, we could be a greater country. But because we've been buying the outside bullshit for a long time, the people who are in marketing and sales don't know what else to sell.
Yeah.
So recently I was talking to like some young prospective people in the who are going into the advertising business. And they were saying, well, when we sell, try to suggest these ideas to our bosses, they laugh at us and turn us down. I said, well, one of the reasons for that is that we've become a lazy people.
Yeah.
We take the easy way out. You're a bunch of Sunday drivers, Instead of, it's because if you want something to happen and you appreciate it, you have to knock down the doors until it happens. And you don't have to like choke the person, but you have to keep showing them shit. One day they're going to say, hey, let me see that again.
Yeah.
You have to just keep doing it.
So do you think we can knock the doors down?
Yeah, of course, but we can knock the doors down only if we look inward.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't look outward. But the thing is, the reason why we're consumed so much by foreign culture is because we don't have our own national mirror to mirror it against. When I was a kid, I went to the States because I was crazy about jazz.
Yeah.
And I knew more about America than the kids today.
Yeah.
I went into it as a scholar, not as a follower. I went into it as a scholar. I was so obsessed by it that I knew the taxi fare from Harlem to Birdland and which route to take. The taxi driver couldn't go another route. Hey, man, you got to go through the parking lot, 7th Avenue. And but at the same time, I was rooted in my traditions here at home, and I can still sing my family praises for 45 minutes if you got the time.
I've got a bit of time. Well,
what I'm saying is that instead of being so provincial, about our being consumed by other cultures, we should become more cosmopolitan in our lookout. Then we will know more, and we won't be. I don't know if you've ever seen South Africans abroad.
I have indeed.
Because they don't know shit.
Yeah.
So that they only know what is American when they are here. Because America doesn't know shit about America.
Well, when you were in America, when you were in exile and kind of all over Africa and all over the place, did you ever worry that you might lose your sense of being South African, your roots?
I couldn't, because I was steeped and I was brought up as a South African.
Yeah.
And I was cooked in South African culture. Not only at home, but even I grew up in township dance bands. I ran with township gangsters and with township babes. But I went to the country and learned how to milk and how to head cows and how to praise myself. my totem, and but at the same time, I admired everything from overseas. But you see, like when we were in school, we had a British education here.
Yeah.
And one of the things we learned, because the British taught the world, was from the tradition of like colonizing the world. But in geography, we were able to draw the map of every country, its hinterland, its climate, its products, you know what I mean? Its exports, its imports. So, well, we knew everything.
Yeah.
You know, but today's kids don't even know, they don't even do geography.
Yeah.
They don't know the history of this own country. This is the only country where the people don't know it. They don't know their own country. They've never seen it because of like the old rules, you know.
Yeah.
But we're the only country also that hides its age. You don't see old people in South Africa. Unless you go like, to the rural areas.
Yeah.
We hide
let them away.
We want to communicate with them because we don't want to get into our past. And people who don't have a past ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Just running around in circles, you know, like those mice who run so fast in those experiments in a cage that has like a Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible then to go into the future properly without the old concept of the family, with these new small fragments of family?
No, I mean, you're rootless.
Yeah.
You know, you're rootless. When you go to England or you go to like Germany, all those places, there are places where you can actually go and like find your family roots for like 10 centuries.
Yeah.
But some of us can't even go a generation back. Some of us don't know where our parents come from.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not into, you know, we're looking at the fucking TV all the time.
I know.
That's our father.
Well, when you were away, like, what year did you leave South Africa? Like early 60s? 1960.
I was 20 years old.
Did you think you would have to wait so long?
At first I wanted to come. When I graduated from Manhattan School of Music, I was ready to come back, but I also had a loud mouth, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Eric Belafonte said to me, Hugh, you know, Mandela and all those people are already in jail, and with a mouth like yours, nobody even knows you. They're going to kill your ass. So what you'd better try and do is make a name for yourself, and when you talk about your country, people will listen, and maybe in the long run, you might, as an old man, go back home, which of course I came back when I was 51, but we didn't think we'd ever come back because of the draconian intransigence of the last government. We didn't even think they'd ever dream of giving up. But what was ironic or paradoxical is that it was because of the pressure of the international arts community, you know, that had been galvanized originally by people like Miriam Makeba.
Yeah.
And the arts community pressured its countries all over wherever they were to say, we can't be friendly with those people. And there was a time when there was no group in the world that wasn't singing about South Africa.
Yeah.
And the people of all those countries. And Paul Simon, who was the most criticized out of this country for playing with South African musicians, you know, and he didn't come and perform here, you know, but we played to 10 million people all over the world. And those 10 million people before that had never heard about South Africa. And the show that we did, Graceland, was a very, very, very radically militant show.
Yeah.
You know, so to a great extent, you know, the arts had a lot to do with like hipping the world to what was happening in South Africa, and helped for the world to turn around and free South Africa. And the Afrikaner hierarchy had to say, listen, we want to like make a deal.
Yeah.
You know, the deal wasn't that advantageous to the oppressed, but shit, you know, I'm sitting on my farm today.
Yeah.
And things are not as bad as they were, but of course there's never been a time in the history of humanity when you know, a privileged community said, listen, sorry that we made so much money off your backs, here's 500 trillion to show you our sorrow. And I'm not expecting that to happen, but at least we got somewhere to start from. Yeah. And I think that maybe not in my generation, but I think that your generation will probably see the beginnings of the end of the old bullshit, Yeah. People never change completely.
No, they don't. But I think, the kids who are 10 years old now, when they're like 20 and when they're nightclubbing together and dancing together, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, but you have to remember that, there's also 50% of this country's people are poor.
Yeah, I know.
And they're not enjoying, this joy is not trickling down to them because they are suffering still on an hourly basis. And unless something is done about that, we are breeding a second and a real revolution in this country.
Yeah. Plus lots and lots of orphans without parents.
Yeah.
Big thing, yeah.
You never know where a revolutionary leadership comes out of. It comes out anywhere. But if there's dissatisfaction, definitely it is fertilizer for dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
And the uprising.
On time, okay, this is your beautiful big mouth talking again. You speak of how there is no gratitude, charity, or goodwill coming from those who gain privilege through apartheid.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, is more or less completely true.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider, actually, as well as being a musician, did you ever consider when you came back of actually, entering politics, properly?
No, because when you're into politics, you have to be a member of a group that follows the rules of the party.
Yeah.
So I've never been a party member.
Okay.
And even if I ran as an independent, I would have to still be part of an independent group.
Yeah.
They will have their rules.
Yeah.
And as soon as you have rules, you are limited. So you're better off I'm just better off doing what I'm doing. My next album is going to be very radical.
Okay.
But if musicians could change the world, then Bob Dylan would have changed America long ago.
But maybe he did a little bit, hey?
Oh yeah, no, he did. I mean, those people did a lot, and I'd like to get that viral. The thing that is necessary on our continent is that we can't be complacent because we're free and we've voted. We have to express dissatisfaction where it is necessary, And when things are wrong, we have to get them, especially the public who don't know otherwise should know, especially the disadvantaged. And I think it's our duty, it's our duty, all of us, the press, whoever, if you are in a position to do it, you have to say, there is something wrong here. It doesn't mean that you want to overthrow the government, but what we voted for is to be able to say things are wrong.
Yeah, completely.
And for our government to back us. Because when Bob Dylan and Harry Belafonte and John Baez and them sang about the things that were wrong in that country, there were politicians who were on their side.
Yeah.
And some of those people were people like Jack Kennedy.
How do you then? How do you relate to our government now in 2002, and maybe more specifically to the ANC? If it's not too loaded a question.
Government, we came into government in a very difficult way because we had to make a deal that was brokered, by Western interests.
Yeah.
To start with, and we had to protect our oppressors. In other words, if anything has happened in this country, is that we freed our oppressors. And then today you cannot find anybody who supported apartheid the same way you couldn't find a Nazi in Dresden in 1946 after the Allied forces came in.
Yeah.
And in the government of unity and in reconciliation, there was a lot of compromise had to be made.
Yeah.
And when people do compromise, they also get new opportunities, especially the ones who become part of the new establishment. And they have to deal with righting wrongs that have been established over centuries.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take overnight to fix those things. And also, it's in the history of revolution, the gentry and the establishment always tries to consume the revolutionaries.
Yeah.
And they become part of the establishment, And they take you out of your communities, and then something is lost there, I cannot judge this government because it doesn't have a long record yet.
Yeah.
And the thing that is difficult for them is that the people who were privileged in the past want us to gloss over what happened and the damage that was done. They're let's forget about the past already, look forward. There is no way you can do that, otherwise there wouldn't be a Jewish state today. You know what I mean? And the Jews remind us every day of what happened in the Holocaust. And I think it is necessary that not only should we be reminded here of what happened in apartheid, but in Africa should remind the world of what happened to them. And that, to me, that's more important, and a government is in transit for me always.
Yeah.
Governments are in transit, but the people are there forever, and their tradition and culture is there forever. And I think that is the thing that is necessary in this country to revive. And if this government doesn't do a lot to revive the things that apartheid destroyed in who we are as an ex-oppressed people, then they will have failed us.
Yeah. That's quite great.
I'm sure a government will come up that will do it eventually. It might not be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Because, the government is just as victim, the present government is just as victim to the dictates of the international powers as we are to the dictates of the present broadcasting system.
Yeah.
The present broadcasting system comes from the days of oppression when anything African was barbaric and savage. So it's not going to be changed overnight,
I mean, in 1994, I really thought that we would have a new broadcasting system, a new police force, a new post office, all that stuff. I was very naive.
It was the dream, but you can't do it if you've also you have reconciliation.
Yeah.
The only thing that disturbs me is that to a great extent reconciliation in this country is one side. It's only coming from the ex-oppressed people.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's a goodwill and charity is not coming from the formerly privileged classes. Yeah. If anything, they are very much entrenched in every kind of way of protecting what they got from the past.
Yeah, I think you're very right.
Yeah. And not only that, we're already being blamed for reverse apartheid.
Yeah.
But the majority of the white population in this country and the other people who are privileged have forgotten that they couldn't go anywhere without being able to say that they're South African.
Yeah.
They couldn't play sports with anybody. They couldn't criticize even the government that handed them the privileges.
Yeah.
Today they can criticize this government to hell and back, and nothing is going to happen to them. And most of all, they couldn't do business anywhere. But today, if you go all over Africa where they were not allowed, all the new South African businesses are white businesses.
Yeah. And
you would think people would at least say, "Dankie Kaffers."
That's me clapping. That's the. I mean, do you ever just feel resentful on that basis of the whole fucking white race?
No, I've never. I can't be. I'm too big for that, and I've lived too cosmopolitan a life.
Yeah.
I realize the disease and the gangrene that is set in here, but it is healable.
Yeah.
It won't be healed right away, you know. A virus takes a long time to conquer, but I don't think it's a cancer, and I don't think it's a HIV kind of disease here.
Okay.
But it is going to take a long time because people are steeped in their ways, and there's like you got two generations that were brought up to hate black people.
Yeah.
And they're not going to change overnight. They're not going to lose their resentment easily. I was looking at some of the people in the amnesty hearings, you know, the Truth and Reconciliation hearings, and I saw one film where one guy said, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." Because the deal was if you could say that, then you'll be forgiven and you'll get amnesty. But in his heart, he didn't fucking mean it.
Yeah.
If anything, he felt humiliated that he had to ask Kaffers, you know, to forgive him. To me, it's a joke. Race has always been a joke.
It's absurd.
You know, it'll always be a joke. But I always knew that Verwoerd would fall, that the nationalist government would fall. I didn't know when.
Yeah.
But the paradox today is that they're in partnership with the ANC.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you had told me that even 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. So, you know, change happens in ways that we cannot predict.
Yeah.
But we should just like keep on working at it. I think that when you hate, you just like perpetrate what you're fighting against.
Yeah.
You know, but what you have to do is like make people aware that the shit is there out there in the air, and people should try and get rid of it because it's a virus. It's a very bad disease, but it's a healing process that takes a very long time.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I don't think anybody is more relieved deep down in their hearts than the oppressed.
Yeah.
They can sleep at night. They can sleep at night knowing that we're guaranteeing their freedom.
Yeah.
You know, that is the joke in the whole thing. For me, that's a major triumph. And when anybody who is white just tries to come on at me, you know, from their own style, to say, don't be cheeky or look your careful, you know, all I say is, man, I understand how you feel.
Yeah.
I understand how you feel, and I know how painful it must be. But the one thing that I can assure you is that it'll never be the same again.
Hey.
And you better try, when you're alone at home, think about what I said, and try and live with it, because it's going to be here the way it is now forever.
Yeah. Hey, that's fantastic.
I'm not going to allow it to go back.
Yeah. It can't, hey. It just never could now.
No.
Hugh, I've got some fantastic words from you. That was a very nice conversation.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about music.
Yeah. I never ask people about what they do.
Nobody ever talks to me about music. Like, the music speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the one thing I can, to answer your old question, if I went into office, I would be assassinated in about a week. Because just the amount of people that would be fired.
Yeah.
In the first week that I take over, the first year that I take over, I wouldn't stand a chance.
Do you think the truth is palatable?
No, it's not. It's very painful.
Yeah.
The truth is it's even painful now to the people. The people who are in power now are just as thin-skinned as the past government.
Yeah.
You know, and people can't take, when people can't take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in positions to change situations. But instead, like, they defend themselves either on a party level or on a why don't you do something about it? Shit, we voted for you, we put you in power.
Yeah.
And we put you in power so we can cry to you.
Yeah.
Shit, so don't be on the defense yet. The least you can say is, let me see what can be done about this.
Yeah.
Then people won't complain as much, just depend on you.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah. Because we're paying you for that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about how much you sacrificed, because we all did.
Completely. Thank you. So much.
I can send you a bill.
Sorry?
I said, it's okay, man. I'll send you a bill.
Okay, cool. Keep it cheap. I will come and find you on Saturday and say hello in the flesh so you know what my face looks like.
Okay.
But thank you very much, Hugh. Enjoy the rest of your Public holiday?
Okay, man.
Okay.
Take care.
Cheers, you too. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Hugh. To check out some of Hugh's songs and albums, go to talktopeter.com, where you'll find more conversations with creative minds, as well as playlists, recommendations, and other useful resources. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are in the world. And thank you for listening.